to it. We have a ton of stuff to go over with you today. We're so excited to be with you. Hold on, let's let the rest of our friends in.
I got
Family,
you. You keep talking. I got it.
oh, you're the best. If you can throw your video on, we want to see you. We get energy from you. I've only got a few people on the screen. Love to see some more of those videos, but let's get some ahas. What was some of the stuff you put into place last week from your action items or ahas that you got from last week's shift? Go ahead and throw it in the chat or raise your hand and we'll have a couple people come off of mute. Not all at once. I'm a little overwhelmed. Please
Living in
stop.
silence, man. Living in silence.
People forget about you every 11 days. That one hurts a little, but I'm trying to be unforgettable.
People can't forget you, Brooke, though. Let's be honest. I wouldn't forget you in 11 days.
Raise your hand if you love my dad jokes in the waiting room before I let you in. Tiffany was like, let me in. I cannot take this pain anymore.
Do it.
Cannot take this pain. Come on, one more aha and then we'll get going.
Did someone say, I didn't do it, but it'd be a great idea. I will gladly call them and cancel it for the other people getting an appointment.
That was Bonnie G out of New Hampshire. She is the OG of real estate, and that was one things that made me like giggle but hit hard.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
I'll call them for you and cancel the appointment.
I love it.
Thank you, OG Bonnie. All right. Are we ready, friends? In the chat, I have put the links to the things you need. Tiffany will also be dropping them as we go because today is one of my favorite things we're going to talk about. And today's going to be a little more interactive than it has in the past. We want you to participate. We want you to talk about the different things that you're going to see. And anytime you see a slide now that has a little brain emoticon on it, that's going to be where we're going to get chatty in the chat, or we want you guys to come off of mute. Can everyone see my summer of shift page? Not head nods if you can see me. Awesome. So today we're talking about all about internet lead capture and conversion. And now some of you are probably going, ugh, the interwebs. It's the devil on your shoulders, right? Some of us love it. Some of us hate it, but the internet is a part of the world we live in. It's a part of our business world. And if you can master this tactic, you're going to set yourself up ahead of the others in our world that are doing this. And this tactic is all about catching people in your web. So today we're going to get perspective on internet lead capture and conversion. We're going to talk about some hard truths about internet in real estate, and we're going to talk about the 4 C's. So here's what we know to be true. Customers are connected and informed. I didn't say they had the right information. Nowhere on here did I say correct information. People are being thrown information in so many different ways, in so many different outlets, that they are uber connected. And shake of the head, yes or no in the chat, your consumers feel like they know a lot. Right? I'm seeing head nods, right? But we know when they say something, your insides shrivel up and you're like, good Lord, where did you hear that? That is inaccurate. They're seeing things on the internet, social media, and different media apps that they may have. For you guys, online capture is going to be a way to stay in touch. And we've got this great new thing on our websites called force registration that are going to help you start to capture people and really weed out those serial browsers and help find the motivated or those who are ready because they're putting their information in for you. Tiffany, everybody that surfs your world has all the correct information, right? They come to you with information from the interwebs that is just brilliant, right?
Oh, absolutely. They know it all.
It's there's those personalities. They're like, I know, I know, I already did my own comp on my house. I did it. I know exactly what it's worth. Here's my estimate. Estimate.
Yes. Well, and
the-
let's really have a conversation is why do we go after folks on the internet, right? What's important about that?
Hold on, my thing is having a
Yeah,
mental
you're
breakdown
being a
here,
little
sorry.
all over the place right now.
I moved my mouse and it sat on the keyboard and had a field day there for a minute.
It's like, why do we go after those quote unquote cold internet leads? What is important about those leads?
You could come off of mute.
I do
or
think
put
that
it
was
in
a
the chat.
question.
They're actively searching. Samantha put that in the chat. They're actively searching, and it's your job to find the motivation.
Yep.
Where are they in the process?
Absolutely. And when you think about it, we have our pipeline and we constantly have to fill the pipeline. And a great opportunity to do that is to live in lead capture.
Absolutely. Did you raise hand? Did you know about the new force capture? And if you didn't, I will make sure your market center tech trainers and we get information on it. But what force registration and capture means that they can view, you can choose when people view a certain amount of properties to view more, they have to put their information in and we capture it in the web. Whoa. It sounds so evil. It's fantastic because when you go to these other websites where you're searching real estate, you hit roadblocks and you usually hit them fast when you're trying to get more information. I know I do not put my information out there. I just wanted to see a picture. I just wanted to see what my neighbor was doing. I am not a motivated buyer or seller, so I'm not putting my information in. But people are putting their information in when they are motivated for information. All right, so let's talk about when a lead is a lead. So this is one of those things that in command, you've got leads and you've got contacts. How many of you have heard the term METs or have not met? Okay, Tiffany, what is a have not met?
A have not met is someone that I have never talked to. They don't know me, I don't know them. And for whatever reason, our names have crossed.
So it could be someone who's referred to you.
Could be.
Could be somebody you used to work with who sent something in on your website, LinkedIn, social media.
Yep.
And then what is a MET or a contact?
So those METs and contacts, those are people that are only supposed to use me for real estate, right? I am the one. Is that really true though?
You are the one. You are your hyper local
I am the
expert.
one.
And then the other thing is, I look at it this way too. Your Aunt Lucy could be a habit met because have you had a two-way conversation about real estate with them and have you validated their real estate needs? So as a newer agent, our data bank may be full of everybody we know personally, but could you sit down and look at everyone and know exactly where they are in their real estate life right now? Are they looking to buy, sell, invest? Are they looking to refer? So now when we talk about leads during this, the next part of this tactic, think people you have not validated their real estate needs with. You can't get them to pick up the phone, answer an email or a text message, or it's someone we have not had the chance because we hadn't had the confidence till we came to shift with us to make that call, text, have the conversation about real estate, but we'll get you there. And then the other thing to think about today, and we're going to talk on too, is too many leads. Now, I just saw a face. I saw the face where you're like, there is no such thing as too many leads. And I can guarantee you there is. There are too many leads sometimes, and there's not a robust enough follow-up system that happens automatically to help you stay on top of those leads and weed the motivated out, the unmotivated out, and push the motivated through to get to you. And I love this GK quote: lead is someone who is able, ready, and willing to do business now. These are the people you're clicking add to pipeline and you're putting them in an opportunity because we're going to get them under contract, or we're going to get the referral, or we're going to get the investment. So let's talk about this real quick. Put it in the chat, raise your hand. or just think and marinate on it. What is your current speed to lead strategy when you are doing something online? This could be a Facebook ad, this could be a social post, this could be posting your landing page. But what is your current speed to lead strategy for someone that clicks, yes, please, more info?
And if you don't have one, it's okay to put, I don't have one and I'm looking for one here in the chat, because that's what we're here to help with, right? So we're all transparent here and love to know those who do have a system and those who are looking for a system.
I have a system. I don't know if people really know this. In Command, you can take a look at who has looked on your page or who has clicked in on a listing through your page, and then you can like reach out and touch base with them and see if they need your help.
You are talking Brooke's love language.
You can. If you sort your data bank by there's recently contacted and then there's recently active. Active is what your people in your data bank are doing, and that is money. So now you can see what they're doing, but what happens when they send something in? What happens if this happens at 11:30 at night? Are we supposed to be calling or texting?
No, you send out an auto email.
Right? What does speed to lead look like when you're sleeping, or maybe you don't sleep at 11, or you're with a client, you're at a closing, you're transacting business, or even more importantly, guarding your lead gen time.
A smart plan with trigger.
Yes.
One
I
of the
love
great
the
ways
trigger.
you can do it. I do as well love triggers. And just remember this, guys, any system you set up, email should be the first thing. You can still have a text that goes out automatically, but that email is key, because if you don't, you're not going to know to text them till the next day. So we want an email that goes out, and part of it to say, if you get this outside of normal business hours, someone will be in contact tomorrow. Chat with you
It's in
soon.
your
Feel free to
dictionary.
email me.
Automagically? Automagically.
That's my word.
Right? That's
right.
the benefit of, if you're going to take the time to do the lead capture, then do the follow-up, because the money is not in the lead capture, it's in the lead follow-up.
And Jen, I think you and I heard this probably 83,000 times the last big KW event we were at. We don't have a lead problem. We have a lead conversion problem. Why? We discount the leads. We don't want to pick up the phone and call. We don't know what to say, or we're overwhelmed. So we'll get through that today. We're going to figure out some strategies. The other thing we have to do, is we have to quantify and qualify what we're getting. So how many of you, raise your hands or put in the chat, are spending money on advertising? This could be Facebook ads. This could be signs. This could be open house signs with writers, pens, business cards, your name tag. Anything that has your name on it as a business owner is a piece of marketing. Are you making sure that every human that hits your system, you know how you got them? And then we can do something called ROI and see how many closings or return on investment you're getting from those lead sources. Go ahead, Karina. Oh, you're just
I
excited?
was just raising my hand. You said raise your hand. So I was-
Following the rules, Brooke.
She's my rule follower, always and everything.
So I
Try.
would love for somebody to come off mute and tell us what they have in place. If anybody
Yes.
has something that they could share with the group, that would be fantabulous.
Another word.
We speak our own language.
I loved how Karen said that she has her triggers. So I'm going to say maybe Karen has something in place.
Yeah. I pulled myself off. I know I don't look camera ready, but it's okay. So I just started with the smart plans and the triggers with the Facebook ads to reply on those. But the most action I've gotten was on my last open house, that I had a smart plan in place once they looked at the Facebook ad about the listing. They got the contact information and then automatically the trigger went the follow-up for the just listed ad, if that makes sense.
That does make sense.
Yeah.
So you, as soon as they left the open house, you were putting these people who are unrepresented on a smart plan. So they had your info and the info on the property
Yeah, and the thing is, I mean,
automatically.
you're going to get people that say, oh, I was just looking. Well, so there were two. I did one for the open house and then I did one for the just listed. I did two smart plans with two different triggers. So the one that I did for the just listed, the open house, they knew that I knew they were at that open house. So, you know, them, I'm still, those, I think there's a handful, like 5 that were unrepresented that I am like right now finessing and nurturing. The group that commented or that I have on the smart plan for the just listed, the thing about that is you really have to follow it. Once they start commenting, if they say I was just looking, I'm not interested, then I'd go back and I'd start picking up the conversation with them. Then how about a phone call? No, I really don't want to, I was just looking at the pictures. Okay, I understand that, you know, you get into a dialogue, some of it goes cold, but I've got about 2 people that I'm conversing with in addition to the open house people from the just listed campaign. So 2 of them seem to have worked. The open house campaign with the smart plan and the trigger and the just listed.
I love that. I love that. And it's, are you spending hours on it or is it already created and ready to go for you?
It's already created and ready to go. So hopefully the next listing I have, which I'm working on now, I will just have to, and I've used QR codes too for my open house. So they, you know, they did the QR code, it went directly to command, all their information. So all I have to do is just change the address of the
Copy
house.
paste.
Property, exactly.
Copy paste.
Brooke, can I get a pulse of the group? Because Karen, that was such great advice of what you're doing and sharing. Pulse, like the group here, how many of you know how to get into command and set up a smart plan with a trigger? Or maybe how many of you would like to know with a very quick tutorial video of how to do that? If you're interested in having something sent to you with a quick little guide of how to do what Karen's doing, put that in the chat. We'd like to see who would like to have something like that.
One person. Yep. If one person was interested, then we will do that for you. And actually, we'll do one better. We'll get it into our Facebook group for you so that it lives on in infamy forever.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's great. That'd be great.
You got it, guys.
And I don't know if can I just make one more comment? I don't know how many people are using QR codes, but I'll tell you something. It was a lifesaver for me with the open house, and also anyone who's concerned about you know, wasting paper and the environment. It saved me so much paper. I had a QR code for the property disclosure. I had a QR code for the special features of the home. I had a QR code for the listing. I had additional listing sheets, but I had nothing else. I did not print out anything else. And I got more comments on that, and that there was hardly any paper, and that they could just click on the QR code and walk around the house with their phone.
Yep.
Love it. Oh, I love that QR codes.
It was easier than flipping through papers, even just to look at the property disclosure on your phone.
Love that.
Why do you think
Thank
we're
you.
talking so much about why this is important? Like, why is this a tactic and shift? Why is this so important that we're having this conversation?
You can throw it in chat. The answer's right here. We don't want you to waste money where you should not be wasting money. In a shift, we know we have to tighten up our expenses, right? We have to get really clear on where we're spending money, but more importantly, Guys, if we're spending money and we don't know if it's working or not, why are we spending the money? Why?
Yep.
If you are spending 1 cent, whether it's on pens, your business cards, Facebook ads, or even your time, because your time is valuable, you need to be able to track it. You need to be able to prove it. And more importantly, we need to know when something's not working so we can pivot and move on to something else or try something else. And what we know to be true in a shift is that things that worked 3 weeks ago may not work today. And we need to constantly evaluate and reevaluate the things we are doing so that we do not waste money or time. And tech tip, when you're running ads, and we just talked about this, not only can you have them go on smart plans, but you can have them tagged immediately so that you always know when those people came from, and you can track every lead source. You can create your own, or you can use the generic ones. When they come in from a Facebook ad on command, it does tag it as the lead source Facebook advertisement. So one more step taken for you to make it easy. So let's talk about who uses the internet. It's everyone. Even my 5-year-old, 6-year-old now knows what the interwebs are. And it's blocked on everything for her. But buyers and sellers are using it at a higher level than we've ever seen. And I've pulled a slide coming up out of Gary's vision speech from last year. But 90% of all home buyers buy online, use an online search tool. And that's a lot. That is a lot of people being filtered. Ooh, am I gone? Am I there? Can you guys see me?
Yep.
Okay. Ooh, I just had a scary moment where I thought I lost you guys. And 89% are using their phone. They're not even using a computer, right? So they're looking on the tiny box that lives on their hand, and they have carpal tunnel arthritis just in the thumb from how fast they type. But we need to be able to bridge that gap for them. People always say to me, Brooke, I need a blog. No, you don't. Brooke, I need a place on my website that tells them about everything they need to know about me. No, you don't. Because what they have proven with the research for consumers is we have to make our consumers care about us before they want to know more about us. So this was in the vision speech. You can find this on Connects. Just go to 2022 vision speech. But this shows you the first step in the buying process and where they went. 41% of people first searched online for a property. Then 19% contacted an agent. So this isn't going to the blog. This isn't going to the About Me page. This is going right to a search profile. So guys, when you go to your KW site, what is the first thing you see when you go to brookethenerd.kw.com? Certainly not me. Most definitely a search for properties. And this is where the forced registration is so important, because we're going to give them some properties, then we're going to dangle the carrot, but then we're going to take it away and we're going to make them love us with value bombs, consistent value bombs. Here's a couple other big truths. Great website's going to bring you visitors, but it takes a lot more than a great website to get a customer. And in a shift, what does your time resources look like? Do you think you should be spending capital or all this time trying to figure out websites instead of creating those relationships? You have to have a system in place to capture and convert the leads. So we just talked about that. So we've got our KW site. We've got smart plans ready to go. That's going to tag them, bag them, and tell you to call them or text them. And then they're looking for help from a trusted advisor. This is where business Facebook comes into play. Not a personal Facebook that you've turned into a business page, but a legit business page. It is proven that buyers will search Facebook for businesses and people they're going to transact or do business with to try to get the picture of who you are as an individual. Do they like you? Are you in the same type of communities? Will you work the hardest for them? And it's a numbers game. It really is. You've got to convert on volume. Now, what do sellers do? When sellers are online looking for things, they're looking at what's going on around them. They're trying to analyze the market before they reach out to someone, because when they reach out to you, they want you to know that they have a little bit of information. They're going to be looking at comparables, right? What is the neighbor's house going for with less upgrades than mine? They currently, before they meet you or any agent, have no loyalty to any brokerage or any agent. They are loyal to their property and their pocketbook. They want to understand the home selling process because it is continually changing. Even though it's the same basic steps, it feels foreign. If you haven't sold a house in 40 years, it feels a lot different, even though it really is the same basic steps, right? Title, mortgage, buy, gone, buyer. And they want agents to know. They want to be in the know. So what skills do you need to capture and convert online sellers? And these could be tools or these could be skills. What do you need? Should probably open the chat back up. This is one place. You need this. You need us. You need us.
I think you need scripts because once you get that person, it's like, what do you say? You have to come off of the back and forth on the online. You got to be able to talk to them. So I think scripts are important.
Absolutely agree with that. Thank you, Kelly. Thank you. If you have not taken Train the Presenter, by the way, either, one of the best tools you can put in your tool belt for confidence while speaking, not in front of just groups, but you are being interviewed to sell their home and you are interviewing them for them to be your client. What about CMAs? How are you at CMAs? Do you always rely on a product or could you jump into the MLS, know the numbers and come up with a range for comps for them? How comfortable are you doing that? Because that's what they're going to be asking for. Jen or Tiffany, do you have any other tools or skills?
Well, I think everything that you have mentioned and Kelly mentioned it as well, to go along with scripts is the confidence behind the scripts and what you're explaining. So I think, and I think Laura put it in the chat, is education. If you educate yourself, you're going to get confident in what you're saying, what you're doing, and what you're presenting. So by being here and learning the dialogues and what we're doing and what we're saying, that's the start. And I think that is a skill that is always necessary, knowing your numbers, knowing how to articulate them and presenting.
I love the
Yep.
good
And I'll say
listening
know your
skills.
audience.
Like good listening skills. Stacy said that, like, so huge. How many questions are you asking and then just being quiet, right? A script, and let's just say it's not a script, it's really a real estate conversation. Your real estate conversation should be tons and tons of questions because you want to say, picture this, you've hired me to be your agent and, right? And if you don't ask great questions, you won't have that information.
I love those. Love those. So now let's talk about buyers. Buyers sometimes start so early in the process. I have been searching for a house that I am not ready to move to forever, but let me tell you, if the perfect house would come up, boom, gone. They browse and they analyze and they do research. They really do. They don't realize they're doing it, but by clicking on all these different aggregators of real estate, the Z Who Shall Not Be Named, the Plopfin, all these different websites, they're looking and analyzing. They are very prepared when they are ready, or they have this perceived notion because of all the research they did. They move quickly from website to website. If they cannot get the info they want quick, they will Google it instead of scrolling or moving through the pages or putting in information to get to it where it will be no cost, which they perceive as value. They want to understand the home buying process. They want to know that their agent knows everything there is to know about buying and selling real estate, so they feel that you have their best interest. And again, I can't emphasize this enough. They have so much misinformation. There is so much misinformation about real estate buying and selling on the interwebs. Let me tell you about the Fizbo down the road from my house and what that man's putting on Facebook, and I almost turned inside out. But we're not going to go there. We don't have enough time for that today. So what skills do you need to capture and convert buyers online? Would you say it's the same ones that we need for sellers, or would it be different? Good communicator. Thank you, Karen.
Well, and if you
What
think about what kind of market are we coming out of, right? We're still in a seller's market, and yet Patience, I love that one. At the end of the day, what kind of skill do you need to have around negotiating, around finding those off-market properties, right? How many homes are sold without even hitting the MLS? And are you one of those agents that are making that happen?
And I would agree that you need those same skills for sellers online that you need for buyers. You need to know, practice on your peers, not your clients. Know your numbers. That's going to be Jen's tattoo we get in Austin. It's just going to be like, know your numbers across her. It's a band that's going to just go around when we go there because she says it so often. Know your numbers. Be prepared and be authentic. That's the other thing that I think is missing so often is you're allowed to be yourself.
Yep.
You know, one of the best ways that I made sure that I knew the first time home buyer in my world when I first started, I was 22 years old when I first started. So my buyers typically were first time home buyers. And the way that I was able to educate myself was I taught first time home buyer seminars. By the way, should I have been teaching them to start? Absolutely not. I didn't own a house when I was 22. 23 I did, but at 22 I didn't own a house and I didn't know everything about the entire process. What I did know by the end of teaching those sessions, by the questions that were asked in those sessions and by the experience that the lenders and the inspectors and the attorneys that were with me teaching it, I was able to learn so much so quickly. So, you know, if you're afraid to just get started and do something or teach a class to first-time home buyers, don't wait. You will learn as you go. And it's such a great opportunity for you to learn fast.
And KW has one, and I'll find it and post the link where they give you everything, the PowerPoint, the people to bring in, how to moderate it, because the way KW does is you moderate it with the lender of choice, a title person, and an inspector. You look like a genius. They give you the assets, everything. When I tell you they give you everything, even give you the scripts, the ad copy, what to put on Facebook, you will be so excited. I will find that and get that into the Facebook group for you guys. And that can be a low cost or no cost tool, by the way, because if you have it at the market center, no cost to you to rent space. This is a time cost because you're inviting people, you're looking for people to sponsor with you, to be at the event, and then there's follow-up. So think about, and I love that segue, Jen, thank you. Think about no cost tools or low cost tools before you start spending. And do you have the right setup? So do you have Command, and do you have it easily on your browser? And do you have the phone app so you can quickly respond to leads or things that come in from your lead sources on the internet? You must have a social media in this day and age. If you are not about having your private world opened up, great, build a business page. You have to have a private Facebook. You have to have your own personal for Facebook to say, yes, you're a real human being. You can have a business page. If you're not sure how to set that up, please speak with your market center tech trainer or agent services or leadership. They have tons of classes ready to go for this or the resources for you. The other thing I love is direct messages on, everybody says, well, Brooke, I don't have their phone number or email. Oh, but they're on your LinkedIn, they're on your Instagram, they're on your Facebook. Click direct message and off you go. Off you go. All right, Paul, do you have a question before we hop in to the next section?
I don't have a question. I just have a comment that you actually taught, like, I forget, 2 or 3 months ago. So you taught us to replace our phone in the menu of our, in the phone with the KW Command app, which I have done, and just use it for your calls and your texting and, I don't know, trolls Facebook and put contacts in there.
Absolutely.
So I've been doing that since, I don't know, I think you told us that like 2 or 3 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I've used it a bunch. So I just use the Command app. Then you don't have to look, everything's in there. It's simple.
It's so wonderful too. And it's a habit, right? So I my big thing is you put it where your phone app is. So that way, when you go to dial, you go, oh, and then you have to go right into the command app and it automatically logs things for you. Thank you so much.
It is a habit.
Paul.
It takes a little while to get used to, but once you do it, it's worth it. Let me tell you.
Right. And I can prove to my mom that I did leave her a message in the when, where for Doris. Gang, why do you need a website? Why do you need a website?
So I use my website to register the new people into the consumer app. I learned that a couple of weeks ago too. So you just go to your website, set them up as a customer, then just text them and tell them, hey, I'm just setting you up in my personal app. Your password is your mobile phone, and done.
Just make sure they agree to that over the phone first, because
Yeah,
by
I text
them
them first
signing
and
up,
say, "Hey, I'm
by
gonna
them
set you up
signing
as
up, they
a-"
are agreeing to be contacted. So just make
Yep.
sure you have verbal or text messages back and forth that says, yes, please sign me up for an account.
Yep.
I love that too. Do you think people think you're legit if you don't have a website in this day and age?
Nope. Nope.
If you
Abraham
have an
Lincoln said it.
amazing
If it's
website,
the internet.
sorry, Brooke, if you have an amazing website, drop it in the chat here. We'd love to check them out. Drop it in the chat if you have an amazing website that that you're capturing people with. Brooke, okay, overachiever. Who else? Love it. And how many of you would love to have an enhanced or a better website currently?
You know what? I'm going to put out a form in our group, and I'm going to email everyone who was on this call today some of these questions as well. So that way, when we put these classes or videos or have the resources, we can get those in front of you for being loyal listeners and participants to our classes. There's always perks to coming to these things, guys. Sometimes it's class cash, sometimes it's one-on-ones or prizes, but one of the best things you can do is make sure to stay involved. So we're going to get that out to you in a form. We also have the chat.
And check out some of your other members' websites on here, because you could get some tips and ideas on what they're doing that you want to implement in yours. Even if yours isn't where you want it to be, or you need help creating one, we're going to get you there. Like Brooke said, part of why you are on this call is for us to work together as a group. This is a complete workshop. This is not a lecture. This is we're doing together, and we're not doing just to say, we're doing this to enhance. So we are going to be working with you on these.
Absolutely.
And Jennifer, welcome. How are you? Love the name. What would you like to add?
Yeah, back to the command app on your phone. Something that I started to do when I'm doing an open house, if I have a lull, I log everything into the app. I set the people up directly into the command app on my phone right away, so that then I can call them as soon as the open house is over. So that was something that kind of clicked with me, and it's been really helpful, because sometimes we have good intentions of making the calls pretty quickly and then we don't get to them. So just something that's been helpful to me.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. So here's why you need a website. Online presence hub for your website. You're going to show homes for sale, and you're tapping into the entire KW network even when you don't have listings, right? It doesn't say, sorry, Tiffany Hampton has 0 listings with the giant L on her forehead on her agent page. You have access to everything. It helps buyers and sellers communicate the process. You can set up buyer's guides, seller's guides, and show them every step of the process, and it helps you communicate. People go to 2 places to find you, right? Websites on the Googlies and social media. What does your current website do to make it easy for consumers to search, yet you gain the leads? What does your current business Facebook say about you? Are you engaged with your community? Plug the growth call. Do you show your personality, or are you real estate only? Are
What's
you
my statement?
communicating?
if you're not buying, if they're not buying or selling real estate in this next 6 months, what are you offering them?
Right. And I will tell you this. When we post nothing but real estate and another one listed and another one sold, another one under contract, what you were telling your community is I am busy. What are your consumers hearing?
They're too busy for you.
Right? Are you communicating? I know as a consumer, when I look at businesses, I'm looking to see how they communicate back to not only the good, but the bad and the ugly as well. Right? Because I want to make sure that these people are empathetic, knowledgeable. I prefer a sense of humor with anyone I work with, and are kind and align with my goals. Okay?
I've had to learn to have a personality.
We're working on it. She does. I'm kidding. She has a wonderful personality. So let's talk about the 4 C's. All right.
Love
It's
the
capture,
4
connect.
Cs.
You live in this world, friend. You talk about this so often. So it's capture, connect, cultivate, close. So it's capture the interested. It's connect with them on a personal level. I know that's scary. I know we want to barf real estate knowledge, but we've got to connect with them on the personal level to create the relationship and the trust so we can get to the business. We've got to create the relationship over time, and then we have to close the appointment. Now, here's your huge tech tip on this one. You can use opportunities to remember every step of these 4 C's along the way. What is the first stage of any opportunity? Who knows? What's it called?
Cultivate.
Cultivate. It's a little plant with a little seed because you're going to water it and you're going to make it grow. Nowhere in there does it say dump metric tons of real estate knowledge. It does not say that. It says cultivate, not overload. First stage is not overload, it's cultivate. So you can use the opportunities as a way to remember every step of these 4 C's. When you capture them and you connect, you validate their needs, you put them in an opportunity in cultivate. That's how opportunities is supposed to work. It's not just a place to get paid. You got to put stuff in there to get paid. But opportunities is project management or pipeline management for agents. It will set your little souls on fire. I promise. We'll go over it.
It will also do another thing. It'll keep you consistent with the experience you deliver to your clients. And what I mean by that is how many times or how many of you delivered the same exact experience to one buyer that you did to the next? A lot of us don't. I'll answer it for you. A lot of us don't because we don't have a system in place to say, this is what happens when I meet the buyer. This is what happens when we sign up as working together. This is what happens with offer stages. This is what happens closing, post-closing. We don't have that system, so we can't remember what we did with that first buyer that we're doing with our second buyer. This is a way to franchise yourself and have a system behind you to say, Jen, don't forget, with this buyer, here's what you have to do next.
Yes.
And we get busy, right? We've talked about how busy is an emotion, but we use it as a emotion when people ask us, how are you? I'm busy. You're not allowed to use that word anymore. Busy is not an emotion.
Yeah.
But, and I ask this question a lot too when we're talking about lead conversion, because we can't just set it, forget it, and then closing happens and we forget about our people. And Bonnie, I see your hand up and I'll snag you in a minute. But I want you guys to think about it. It's after closing, sigh of relief. You walk away, you give them their bottle of wine. Everybody, here's your picture. Here's your key to your happiness. Now it's 6 months down the road. Would you use yourself again as an agent based on how you followed up? You don't have to tell me. That's yours to keep. Now it's 1 year later. Based on your follow-up, would you use you again as an agent?
And before we go to Bonnie, I really just want to have a really quick conversation. In my 23 years of real estate experience, do you know how many times I have had information on a Post-it note or on the back of a business card or a ripped piece of paper and it landed somewhere on my floor? Well, like when Command was built, the way the app works now, all you have to do is go in and open up an opportunity, and then you could throw that piece of paper away purposefully instead of accidentally. Yeah. look at
Bonnie,
that.
did you have something?
I just wanted to ask a question. This new thing that we can go in and register on our sites. And it says, allow them to do what,
210.
unrestricted 10 properties, 2 properties, or no property viewing without having them register. I mean, what do you feel is the best thing that we do for our site there?
I'm going to be dropping a video into your group soon. Watch for that. I just got done filming it. So watch for that. We'll give you more info on that. But I'm going to tell you your honey spot is 2. If you want to uncover the motivated in a shift, 2.
Yep.
Awesome. Thanks.
No problem. So here's your funnel, right? Capture, connect, cultivate. Now, how we spend our time with our people in different parts of different transactions is that middle one, right? Everybody moves different. Every property is going to move different. Sometimes it's fast, sometimes it's slow. Oh my God, this sat 12 days on market. Do not panic. And then the last funnel is leveraging automation at different stages. Guys, this is the smart plans. This is opportunities, and these are tasks. How many of you would be like to told what to do, who to call, who to text, what to say when you walk in every day?
I don't want to think.
I would. I don't want to think. I just want to do. I just want to do what I do best, which is connect with people and make relationships and silly videos. I can't do that if I'm trying to figure out who and try to make the plan ahead of time. So use these tools to automatically be a stellar agent and convert. Yeah, easy button, Jen. So when we're capturing too, that forced registration, because we gave them a great MOFR, right? Make offer for immediate response. You're going to get instant notification. They're going to start getting notifications. People are going to be able to do things like find out what homes are worth in their neighborhood, see properties. Here's the other thing. Everybody's so worried about forced registration. I don't want to spend my time with somebody who's not motivated. I want to spend my time with those who are motivated. When you're capturing too through our websites and different things, think about who's looking for foreclosures, distressed sales, right? We don't see as many of those before that we're going to probably start to see now because of remortgages, mortgage payments coming due from forbearance or different things. But most important, when we capture, we can give them neighborhood information because we know that is what's super important to consumers. They want to know what's going on in their hyper local area. Yes, we need to know state, world, US, all that, New England. But what goes on here where I live is the most important thing to me during the day. And I'm nosy as hell too. And I want to know what my neighbor is selling their house for.
Join my mailing list so that you can receive the deal of the week.
Or all the information about the great things I'm doing. Or maybe you're capturing with your culture-based hearts and your servant leadership. Because again, we talk about more than just real estate. So forced registration on your site is going to give you skinny bait. So skinny bait is you don't know who the motivated is. You're going to be starving, no leads, skinny bait, starving forever. Fat bait is registration required, and everybody is going to want to eat the bait you're putting out there. If you want to take your phones out real quick, this will take you to the answers article. And remember, guys, anything to do with KW Command, you can go to answers.kw.com and type in the search term you're looking for. And there's everything. Everything. Everybody got that QR code? Awesome. So how are you capturing things now? Bonnie, how are you capturing things now? Are you using Google Forms? Are you using landing pages? Are you using a piece of paper that gets stuffed under the back seat and stepped on by your kid? How are you using Post-it notes? What are you doing? Once they are captured, what offers are you making to them? Are you requiring registration now? And do you know how many inquiries a week, a day, a month, a year you're getting from all those places? And these are such huge questions to ask yourself before you start any type of paid online advertising. If I can't capture it from the free stuff I'm doing, how are you going to capture it and convert it with the paid things you're doing? Super important. And we got to connect. When I tell you speed counts, speed counts. If you think you're buying a zip code on Z who shall not be named and you're the only person, we're going to have a sit down and talk. What you are buying is the chance to get to them first. You are buying speed to lead. And in this world, speed to lead matters. You've got to respond and you've got to provide real value. Speed counts in this world. We speed to lead, speed to lead. We're going to identify when we're connecting their motivation and their readiness. That's why I love this force registration. But more important, we got to set appointments. We've got to answer questions. We've got to build relationships. We got to move buyers into pre-approval and approval stages. And then what plans do we have in place for non-urgent inquiries? I'm just looking to make a move in the next few years. I'm just browsing. Long-term nurture. Long-term nurture. Don't discount it. Don't ignore it. Long-term nurture. Make it so that something hits their inbox before every 11 days and they remember your name. And you've got to reach the person, right? If your phone rings, don't scream and throw it from an unknown number. Answer it, connect, thank them, right? You send a text, hey, thanks for reaching out on my website. Is now a good time to connect? A real text from a real human. Are you finding homes on the internet you like? How long have you been looking? Why are you moving? Why they're moving is a motivation that will uncover motivation faster than I think than any question you could ask. Is it a life change? Is it a health change? Is it a work change? So many things. Use an assessment form. They don't have to see it. It's your notes. What are the things I want to always remember to ask somebody I'm trying to convert from an online lead? And hit that close. Here, if you don't reach them, what do you do? If they're not live on the phone with you, leave a message with all your info. Provide helpful information. Follow up with an email. Again, build the relationship. I love the smart plan so much because most of them have the dialogue right in it. So as the task comes up, you can be like, hi, this is Brooke with Keller Williams, blah, 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 blah. And I know exactly what to say. And so I say it every single time. We need to give them pointers on how to navigate. Oh, by the way, I'm also going to send you a link to my app where you can log in and we can discuss the properties that you're looking at with up-to-date information and put them on saved searches and collections and tag them so you know everything about them. Then we've got to cultivate. Cultivate happens before an appointment, during the relationship, and after the closing. Remember the question I asked you guys? Based on your follow-up after the closing, 6 months, a year, 2 years later, would you continue to use yourself as an agent? And what does that aftercare look like? What is your 36 touch? What does it look like to be a client in your world? But most important, we've got to convert. We've got to convert to appointments because no appointments, no sales, no people, no real estate in our world, then we're sad agents. Explain to them what the appointment is for, right? Oh, it's for you to sign the contract. No. It's for us to validate your needs and make sure we're both on the same page about your selling or your buying needs, right? For us to get to know one another, for you to see the property. And when you're converting, here's Jen's tattoo. I'm going to have them made into temporary tattoos for you guys. Send them out to all the new agents. Know your numbers. Know your personal numbers. Know your market numbers. How many inquiries am I getting from websites? How many contacts have I made? That means you put people into a system. And how many people have I converted to appointment and then converted to a sale opportunities? We'll track all of that for you. We've got to understand these things with online lead generation so that way we know how to get in front of our consumers before our consumers get in front of us. We've got to have follow-up systems. We've got to know who is ready, able, and willing to make a move. And we've got to make sure that we're not putting out these big nets and not working with the leads we get back. Smart plans opportunities, forms, reminders to call people, reminders to stay in contact and be more human more often with those we are captivating in our own audience and communities. So website, Facebook, learn the automation tools that are provided to you guys at no cost. Girls, do you have anything you want to add before we get into our follow-up and our prize basket winner today, besides an aha or two?
You know, there are just some really great ways and little scripts in this presentation here that I don't want you guys to miss out on. So it's on the connect portion, and I believe you've included the slide into this in the comments, right?
If not, they will be in today's Facebook group as PDFs for you guys to print out.
Yeah, please print them out. And there's some really great gold in this presentation just to remind yourself on a couple of key factors that we pointed out today. That's it.
Tiffany, anything you want to wrap up with?
So I hadn't sold real estate from 2013 to 2017, 2018. The end I decided to sell. 3,000 attempted contacts, 850 conversations, 27 listings, 30 sales in 6 months. So knowing your numbers, I will tattoo with Jen, because at the end of the day, if you know your numbers, you will win. And yes, this is a relationship business, and the knowing your numbers in the relationship business is how many opportunities did you get today to build a relationship and add somebody to your numbers.
I love that. And when I say know your numbers, it's on everything. You've got to know your budget. You've got to know where things are coming from, how much you spent. Was it worth using that? Your numbers is everything. Sorry, our winner was getting picked in the background from today as we were doing this. You heard the wheel. Jen heard the wheel. I'm going to see if they're on because I might have to spin it again. But today you are getting a huge basket from one of our preferred partners. I'm trying to see. Oh, I don't think our winner's on. Our winner's not on.
So sad.
Spin it again.
But hold on, you have to say their name so everyone that knows them can text them and say, oh, that's so sad.
Well, let's see. Mary Mulder, are you on still?
Yep.
Going once.
So let's tell them who the sponsor is.
So today's sponsor is our friends at Movement Mortgage, and it is Matt Tomiasiello. I think I said that right. Are you on today, Matt?
I will tell you, I think every 3 loan officers at Movement is named Matt, including my husband.
I know.
I don't know what that's about. But.
So Mary, you got one more second. I'm going to give them the next one.
So we all need to text Mary if we know her and say, oh, so sad.
All right, let's see. I don't want this to be one of those. All right. Tara Donahue Scott, are you on the call? You've got like 1,000 names.
Well, I saw her waving her hand.
There you are. I see
I'm here.
I know where you are out of. You are out of Evolution. Congratulations.
Sorry, my dog's barking.
That's okay. That's the world we live in.
Yay.
Congratulations. Thanks for sticking out with us and staying to the very end. Guys, fill out the prize forms. Tara did. That's how she got extra entries in the eval. So you can go to brookthenerd.com and go to Summer of Shift. You can QR code this and do the quick eval. Next week, we are covering tactics 7 and 8. So that's pages 135. This is my favorite when you guys all put your phones up to the cameras and I can see you guys all QR coding. I love it.
So let me stop you though. We're not meeting next week.
Oh no, it's the week after. So it is the 30th. Because what's next week, guys?
Mega camp. River has it. It's 113 degrees and has been over 100 degrees for 8 weeks. I'm not sure if I'm excited or sad about that.
I'm excited.
Don't worry. We'll be inside with Gary. It'll be air conditioned, cold. You'll be wearing a sweater. Don't worry. Who's going to mega camp? Real quick. Want to see? Oh, I see Heidi. Heidi's going. Tiffany, Brooke.
John Eccles, I see you.
All right, John. I like the background, by the way.
Digital.
All right, guys. Thank you. Thank you for spending an hour and 2 minutes with us. We will see you when we get back from Mega Camp. Study those 2 tactics, do your eval, and we will see you later.
And know your numbers.
Know your numbers. Get the tattoo.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, guys.